Hey, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday night. Um, or whenever you're tuning in. Welcome to From Christal with Love. I, of course, am your host, Christal, and I'm so excited to be here talking about Married at First Sight. If you've been watching this channel, you know that this is one of my favorite shows. And this season, San Diego promises to be I think this is going to be a really good season. So far, we're off to a great start. So, welcome on in, pull up a seat, grab some wine, if you will, you know, grab some wine or some tea, and let's get ready to talk about episode two of Married at First Sight aired this past Wednesday, and I said I want to make sure that I am talking about Married at First Sight every week so that we're able to kind of go through and dissect this season together so there are no surprises, like there have been in seasons past. Like, we'll talk about it early on, and then midway through, stuff starts happening and it's like, oh my God. So welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do that now. Go ahead and push that button, push the subscribe button. You can also join the channel, which is super cool because we have some things coming later, so that some content that you may want from behind the scenes and events and giveaways and all types of things. I actually got some makeup, a new skincare line in today. It's called Good Molecules, and I look forward to being able to, with the members, people that join, being able to do some giveaways for people that are locked in. We are here doing recaps on Married at First Sight every weekend. Also, we're going to be back with Ready to Love. We have so much coming. Reality Check is every Monday. This Monday, I have Duchess that used to be on New York, Black Ink New York. And there's some stuff that's happened, so you want to tune in for that. But today is all about Married at First Sight season. I think this is season 15. This is season 15 in San Diego, and I really like these couples. I don't know if I like these couples because I've made myself kind of lock in. Like when they did the casting special, I was locked in. I was watching that. And so when I saw these couples and we see the brides go, and get their wedding gowns, and you get a chance to kind of know the grooms. Good evening, Tiffany. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you so much for jumping in. Tonight's conversation, you guys, I want your feedback. I love my chat. The chat is probably the best thing about this channel. I love hearing what you guys think. So we're going to get into this. So on episode 2, the first episode, we had a chance to see Justin and Alexis's wedding. And so today they started off, hey, Des the Bomb, thank you for joining. Good evening. Hope your Saturday is going well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on From Christal with Love XO. We're talking about Married at First Sight, and I cannot wait to hear you all's feedback on these couples. And I'm not going to start with Alexis and Justin, although I do have, some feedback because we got a chance to actually see their wedding playing out. We saw them get down the aisle and kind of got their takes on one another. But I'm going to come to them second. I want to really focus on Sasha and Nate because that's the couple that kind of started off Wednesday, this week's episode. And I said the last week, I think Sasha and Nate are aesthetically beautiful together. Like, I was just concerned. I knew that he would be attracted to her. I was a little concerned about if she was going to be attracted to him. But it appears that as of right now, we're in a good place. It seems like, the first thing, I'm going to show this clip. This is a short clip from their wedding. And I think that Nate is a very superficial person. But this reaction, when you see his reaction, when he sees Sasha, I realize, okay, this is going to buy us some time. And their difference is coming out because he's obviously very attracted to his bride.
Talking about. that's fine. Hi. How are you? Hey, I'm Nate.
Hi, Nate.
What's your name?
Stasha.
Stasha? Nice to meet you, Stasha.
Nice to meet you.
Take care of her, Nate.
I will. You're beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. You're very handsome.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So we see that down. First thing, Sasha, first thing Nate says is, okay, I think we're going to be just fine. And he was saying that based on her looks. One of the things that he said before, actually after the ceremony, he said, she looks like a wife should look. She's tall, thin, beautiful, real hair, real long, beautiful hair. So he's definitely a superficial guy, but that's fine. It takes all kinds to make the world go round. And she actually said, you're very handsome. Now, I know she's probably going to say that immediately, but I think that she really is attracted to him. Now, there's a few points, and Tiffany's already kind of alluded to one. She says, I just hope her boss mode doesn't kick in too much and she's just more fun and open. Very, very perceptive, because if you guys were watching, Stasha's mother and her friends were very shocked that she actually did this. At the wedding day, when they're getting ready and the bride is, in the bridal suite, her mother said that she was surprised that Stasha actually was able to do this, that she actually was like calm, because this is obviously out of her character. So I'm a little concerned. You guys know I mentioned that last week. I'm a little concerned because Stasha is someone who definitely is like no holds barred. She plays by the book. So today we learned that she is like a real estate investor. She flips houses. She's been very successful financially, as well as also, having quite a few accolades. So I also am a little concerned about that. Ola, is it Adhanet Kadane Ola as well? Thank you for joining. Thank all of you for hanging out with me. And let's just talk about this. Hey, Darla. So Nate mentioned that he is in software sales and a day trader. Now, I'm not going to lie. I have dated a day trader in the past, and he did not have much money. Okay. He was, and no shade, he was working, but it just, I would have rather him do something else and then day trade on the side, unless you're like, understand the science behind money. I don't know. Maybe Nate does, but to me, I definitely think that they're unequally yoked when it comes to their career and their finances. Like, I do not, she's got some very, very, specific things that she does. Flipping, she owns real estate, she collects rent, and you can tell that she's very hard-nosed when it comes to her business. I also think, there's a little bit of conversation that they had after the ceremony, and she said that her house is immaculate. She is extremely clean, and to where it looks like her house is staged. It doesn't look like she lives in it. Yeah, Nate did not seem like that was his way of life, He was like, well, he said, I have a few bad habits. And you could see that she looked alarmed. And he said, well, and he just kind of jokes it off. Now, Nate is someone that I think is also kind of set in his ways. And I also think that if she does come forward with this boss energy, it's definitely going to be a turnoff for him. It's definitely going to be a turnoff for him, and there's going to be a turnoff for her. The prenup, I definitely think that Sasha's going to want a prenup, especially when she sees where he's at financially as opposed to her. And that's what I want to ask you guys. When you go on a show like this, it always amazes me how people go on this show and they never consider the fact that the other person may not be what they are, on their level financially. They never really consider the person. They may not be physically attracted to the person at all. Everyone, joins the show thinking that they're going to, have this perfect looking husband and perfect looking wife. And when that doesn't happen, people get upset. And it's just mind boggling, because the whole idea of the show is married at first sight. So you're not going to get exactly what you think. But in Nate's case, it worked out because she is extremely beautiful. But with that beauty comes that boss. So hopefully Sasha can relax a little bit. One of the things that we heard tonight also was that she's not been in a relationship for a really long time. She mentioned that she hasn't been a girlfriend in a really long time. And that is surprising because she's such a beautiful woman, right? So it's like, girl, what is happening that, and I know that there's not, this whole idea that something must be wrong with you if you're single. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, for her, it's obvious that she's turning down people or she's not gelling with them because the way she looks and what she has going on, a lot of men would definitely jump, just like Nate wanted to do at the altar when they see Sasha. So I'm just wondering what it is that she's doing, or is she looking for something and not feeling like, the people that she dates aren't enough for her, or are her standards too high? She did mention that she liked thugs, which is really hard to kind of put with her personality. But I don't know. D'Souza says, I hope she isn't a Jasmina 2.0. I agree, because I had such high hopes for Jasmina and Michael. I think they really could have made it if Jasmina just would have chilled the mess out. Like, she just was so uptight. She wanted him to, be a certain way, and he definitely wasn't that, So I know there's going to be some issues, because this is the guy that told a stripper to get on her knees. And also within the wedding ceremony, his friends put in the vows, when the pastor's reading, the comments from friends and family, that he's like a freak. And that was, he said, it was a little inappropriate, but I think that a lot of Nate's personality is very overtly sexual. I think that she's more conservative and he's more liberal. So we're gonna see how this plays out. I don't see them. I think they could possibly say yes on decision day, but I really don't see Sasha and Nate being able to make it past that. And you're right, Tiffany. You know, attraction is one of the biggest hurdles that these couples have to face, because when you're married to someone years down the line, little things that they do can get on your nerves and marriages can end. But that physical attraction and that chemistry, if that's not there, it's really difficult, if not impossible sometimes, to get past. So the fact that they're both attracted to each other. And yes, Dee, we saw the little snippets of this very sexy shower scene. One of the things that is interesting to me on this season is all the couples that we've seen so far have actually had like a real kiss. You may kiss the bride, they go in, they're not, we see them dancing, they're touching each other. That makes me feel a lot more hopeful for this season, because in some seasons in the past, the couples like act like they don't even want to kiss when they are there. And it's like, you signed up for this show, you're going to get married. And then they don't want to kiss, they just hug, or they're very, very like, don't touch me, even at the first dance. I love the fact that Nate and Sasha had a regular dance. Going back to Alexis and Justin, they had a kiss also, and we're dancing and very cuddling each other. And to me, that just says that you're making the effort. I would say, and you guys let me know what you think, if you go on a show like Married at First Sight and you're not even willing to hug the person or give them a peck, it doesn't have to be like a whole tongue kiss, but if you're not willing to even give them a little smooch at the end, so that it feels like you guys are actually both working towards making this work. If you can't do that, I think that you probably aren't a great candidate for the show. I think they need to ask that. That needs to be in the questionnaire. Are you comfortable kissing your spouse, your significant other at the wedding? If you're not, please keep it moving, ma'am or sir, because this really is about people that really want to put the work in and make it work from the beginning, whether or not that person looks like the Ken or Barbie that you were expecting or wanted to hope was going to be at the end of the aisle. All right. So I'm going to wrap up with Sasha and Nate. I think that They're going to be some hot moments that we'll probably enjoy watching, but as far as them actually like making it past decision day, we're trying to see couples make it past decision day, go on to live their lives, come back with a baby. Like we're trying to see people actually really gel, not try to force it for the cameras and not really put the real work in. Like that's it's unfortunate, and I think it's a waste of a space. If you're going to do that, you should not have even signed up for this show. But I think they're going to have some hot, steamy sex and some hot, steamy, physical interactions. But I don't see them because I think Sasha is so, I mean, she's in her mid-30s. She's very set in her ways, and she's very successful, and that defines her. Up until now, that has defined who she is. Even at the bridal shower, at the bachelorette party, she's talking about being a boss. Like she's just really, really set in that. And Nate he seems more of like a free spirit, not the kind of guy that I think would be a great fit for her. I think that if they found like this top corporate exec that was like, a VP for a big, Fortune 500 company, I think that would have been a great fit for Sasha. She needs somebody that puts their career and their financial accomplishments with the same priority that she does. And Nate obviously does not, at least not right now in life. So I think the compatibility is off. I think the physical attraction is there. I think the compatibility is off. We're going to have to see what the chemistry plays out to be. But I just don't see them. Hey, you guys know my dog is up here again. She's causing trouble. Yeah, I don't see them making it past decision day, or at least past the reunion when they come back. Not going to happen. All right, let's go back to Alexis and Justin. So Justin is someone that we talked about last week, like the whole idea of him saying that women just want him for his body and all that was a little odd, but I really like Justin and I really want him to be happy. And guys, I think Alexis is going to break Justin's heart. I really do. He really is into her. Like you saw, Justin he is leaving it all on the floor, right? He is all into her. He can't keep his hands off of her. He said that she's just beautiful, and she is. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's got the most beautiful smile, on television right now. Her smile just lights up the screen when she smiles. But I don't think that she looks at the compatibility. I don't think that's there. I also don't think she's attracted to him. She mentioned that he was kind of extremely tall. It was a little bit too tall. And when they're dancing, you see her saying, "Oh my God, my neck hurts because I have to look up because you're so tall." So what did he do? He scrunched down, which is cute, but is a sign that that's going to be what he's doing throughout the relationship to try to make her happy. And I don't think that he will be able to, because I don't think that he is what she wants. I think that right now it appears that she is what he wants, but I don't see that. I don't see it. Let's check out this clip because, I was watching the after show with Keisha Knight Pulliam, who's absolutely adorable, and does such a great job. I love her. I love the old show, but I really like her addition to doing this after show. I think that the cast members are a little bit more open with her because first of all, she's a celebrity. I mean, she's Rudy. Thank you. That is Rudy from the Cosby Show, even though she doesn't want to be referred to as that anymore. We don't care. That's still Rudy. She's accomplished and she's a mother and a wife and doing other things, but that's still our Rudy from the Cosby Show. But I think because she's not a cast member, I think people open up a little bit more with her and talk. And so this is a clip from this past week with Justin recounting how he felt at his wedding. Let's check this out.
That was magical for me. The entire thing. It was a blur. Mm-hmm. But just when I met her, I was all of a sudden inside this bubble. Aww. And all I saw was her and everything else was blurred out. I genuinely tell people it is love at first sight for me.
Oh, I feel like we're supposed to I don't even
Oh my God. Okay. I'm with Keisha. I was like, oh my God, how cute is that? He said it is love at first sight, not just married at first sight, but love at first sight. Super cute. And by the way, doesn't Justin look so much better with his haircut like that? Like oh my God, his haircut made him look so much more attractive than that those other the little, I don't know, he's got some texture going. It was too long. He looks much better with it cut low. I just thought he was way more attractive, seeing him afterwards. But I loved him saying that he was that in love. And the fact that he's saying that with that type of abandon makes me think that maybe things are okay. But there's a few things. Let's break down. There's a few things. So at the wedding, with the reception, they're talking, and I mean, they are snuggled up. They are like, nose to nose, kissing on the dance floor. It's everything that we want to see from that reception after the wedding, right? And then Alexis asked Justin, when's the last time he put his lips on someone else? When's the last time he had a kiss? And he says, over a year and a half ago. Then he tells her that he's been celibate for a year and a half as well. And we see alarm go across Alexis' face, right? Alarm. She looks totally like, what the heck did I just hear? And then she tells everybody else at the reception he's celibate. Like, I thought that was kind of lame. Like, I thought that was not really appropriate for her to do. They were talking back and forth, the two of them, and the fact that she just shared that with her friends. And we know that a lot of Alexis' friends are guys, right? So of course we see all the guys' faces like, what? So then in her confessional, she's talking about how she's a little concerned about not being able to get any. And is it that he was saving himself, or, is it going to be hard for her to get some? And I'm thinking like, okay, so at the very least, this proves that they look at sex differently, right? So where Justin sees sex as more of an emotional connection, and he mentioned that he wanted to stop because he wanted to wait until he was, able to give himself to someone, and, he felt like he wasn't getting that before. Alexis obviously does not feel that way, because I think even if she could fathom that, her reaction wouldn't have been to tell everyone at the wedding, and it kind of looked like that was weird, right? She kind of was like, oh, So we already know she doesn't like his height. It's too, she says, it's awkwardly tall. And he's not necessarily traditionally what she's attracted to. And now the celibacy, and, that has been an issue the opposite way. It's been an issue before for other couples. Remember, Iris was a virgin, and, her husband, was not feeling that. But we've never seen it this way, right? With the man being the one saying, I haven't had sex. He didn't say he wouldn't have sex now. He just said he wouldn't have sex. Wasn't having sex before. I'm wondering, what is this wedding night going to be like? Like, is Justin going to be okay because he is so into her? Is he going to go ahead and try to make a move? And God forbid if it's not good. Alexis does not seem to be the type to have much tact, because if she did, she wouldn't have told the whole damn place that he was celibate. Like, that was really, I thought that was just not cool. So I don't know. I think Alexis is going to break Justin's heart. I'm just saying, I hate that. I really wish it wouldn't, because he probably, obviously Justin has some growing up to do. He has some issues. She does too, right? But I just think that I think he really wants this in a different way than Alexis does. I think that I love the fact, I agree with you, Dee. She is absolutely gorgeous. Her little smile and even her personality, she's very charming. She's very bubbly. And I like her, but I just don't think that she's going to be able to appreciate the sensitivity that Justin has. I don't think that she needs a guy that's that sensitive, because she is not that sensitive, So it takes someone to have kind of gone through something and be a little bit mature to be able to appreciate something in someone else, that maybe qualities that you don't have, or qualities that you haven't experienced before. It takes a real mature person to be able to appreciate that. And I don't know that she really is that at this point, I hope, because as happy as Justin is, it is hard not to support his love, right? It's as happy as he is, and her smile lights up. I mean, their wedding pictures, you guys see their wedding pictures. Their wedding pictures were absolutely gorgeous. The snaps, the shots that they took, they were actually cuddled up and kissing. And like, again, that's what you should do if you're on this show. You have to push through. It's got to feel weird, but if you sign up, then you know that's what you should do. So Tiffany, thank you so much for reminding people to hit the like, share, and subscribe. You guys know I don't do that very often. I'm just trying to get on here and talk to you guys, but I know I need to do that more, and I need to do something special for you because you always help me out and do that. So I need you to DM me on Instagram. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, my Instagram is @EnchantedPR. Tiffany, please send me your information because I definitely want to send you something to say thank you. You've been such an amazing supporter, and you're always reminding everybody here to support the channel. And I really, really appreciate that, especially because you do it sometime to remind me that I need to be doing it. So I don't know, guys. I like this couple, but I don't see it happening. And I really do think it's going to end in, the way we saw Justin crying early on the first episode. I think he's going to be crying again later on in the later on in the season. I think we're going to see more tears from Justin, because I just don't see Alexis being able to really appreciate and deal with his like emotional sensitivity. We'll see what happens on the wedding night. I hope that Justin is able to push through. And then if he, for him not to have had sex for a year and a half, maybe more, and hopefully he's telling the truth. But for that, I mean, we don't know if he's going to be confident, and that's an issue too. Confidence when it comes to sex, especially from the man, is really, really important, especially when you're talking about a woman that plays football. Okay, she is going to want him to come through with the D, right? With the D, that with the magic stick. She's gonna be ready for that. And if he doesn't come through like that, I don't know. We're gonna see. I'm gonna be waiting like this, watching next week's episode when they actually get ready to go on the honeymoon. I don't know, guys. But I really, really hope that they have some good times, because I think all these couples this season have gone through extreme heartbreak, and they've talked about it. They've been more candid than we've ever seen. Monique says, come through with the D. Amen. Yes. All day. Yes. No limit. Like Usher says, give you that ghetto D. Come through with that, because it's an important part of marriage. We talked about physical attraction. We talked about chemistry and compatibility, but we know a part of that, chemistry is that sexual chemistry. And if you don't have sexual chemistry, it makes it very difficult, I don't know that a lot of people are into teaching and sometimes it's just like either y'all have it or you don't. So we'll see what happens. Next week when they actually, we see the wedding night, and then we see them prepare. That wedding night is going to be crucial, y'all. I cannot wait till next Saturday. We are here. And we are able to talk about these wedding nights, because we see couples that are kissing and embracing with their pictures and at the altar. But will that spill over? Will that spill over to the wedding night? I don't know. We'll see. We will see. Tiffany, so appreciate that transparency so much. And like I said, please DM me so I can get your address and send something to you. I've been meaning to say that the last couple of conversations, because I appreciate that. Like, you guys have no idea. This is not something that I started out to do. I've been a publicist for years, and I actually did like broadcast journalism when I was in high school and then in college. And then I quit because I had children and got married. And I felt like, after having two kids, I had two kids by the time I was 23 years old, got married at 20. And then I felt like, maybe that's not for me. Maybe being in front of the camera is not for me. I'm going to take a seat, back seat and push other people. And I did that. And, some doors open. I was given some opportunities to do this for a paper, a magazine here called Rolling Out. And then I started doing my own PR minute on my YouTube channel years ago. And that led to me getting an opportunity to do this with Rolling Out. And then I started my own YouTube channel. So I really appreciate the support. You guys have no idea how much I appreciate each and every one of you. And I see those familiar names in the chat. It does something to me. And I want to make sure that you guys know that you're appreciated, right? So Tiffany, please make sure that you do that so I can send you something. I have a gift pack from Good Molecule. It's a new skincare line that I so far am loving because, as we get to a particular age, it's important that we make sure that our skin still looks great and our skin, is soft and supple and looks young and is not, carrying the age. And so I want to make sure. So I like it so far. There's a brightening complex, there's a toner, but I want to send a package out to you, Tiffany. So make sure you do that. And thank you so much to everybody else as well. But let's move on to Lindy and Miguel, because this is another wedding that I was super happy to see. Like we know that Lindy is the young lady that grew up in a very religious, very strict, conservative household, Seventh-day Adventist, and then Miguel is a Dungeons and Dragons player. Now they both have their PhDs, which I think is great. I love when people are compatible. We see the compatibility. We see not the fact that that it's just like, oh, you have your doctorate, but it shows they both prioritize school. They both prioritize, an academic career. That's important. That means, because if one person has their PhD and the other person, barely finished high school, that could be an issue because their priorities are different. Not because one is better than the other, but their priorities are different. But they are equally yoked when it comes to that. She's a physical therapist. I love the fact that Miguel acknowledges that he was a scientist and that just didn't fulfill him. And so now he does pharmaceutical sales, but he also was really big into Dungeons and Dragons, like big, like he brought a little Dungeons and Dragons trinket, to the wedding and had it there to kind of show her. I don't even know, because I'm not into Dungeons and Dragons, but I think it's cute. And so far she seems okay. So let's check out this clip. Their wedding was super cute because in this clip, you're going to see when she comes down the aisle, he looks happy. She looks really happy. I'm glad that she's really attracted to him because I wasn't sure. And she just gives him this really long hug. Like she gets there and she just gives him a hug like they're old friends. It's super cute. Check this out. And let's talk about Lindy and Miguel.
Oh, holy cow. Okay, we're here. We're doing it.
We are. You good?
Okay.
You good?
Yes. Okay, I'm Lindy.
I'm Miguel.
Nice to meet you.
So, the family has written something about each of you. Mm-hmm. And so, Miguel, they'd like you to know that she's kind of a woman who can find beauty in everything and everyone and knows how to bring out the best in them. Dr. Lindy Elway has a way of making the most normal days an adventure. She's a physical therapist who makes her patients feel like their trips to the doctor are vibrant and exciting. Lindy is the kind of friend that if you lose touch with her, you'll land right where you left off when life brings you back together. So
I love that. She's adorable to me. I think she's super cute. I like Miguel. I like him too. I think that I love the fact that he's multidimensional, because usually like scientists and nerdy types are not also locked into other things. But the fact that maybe they are locked into Dungeons and Dragons, but he's dancing and like he seems like a very down to earth scientist or pharmaceutical rep, but someone with their PhD that's very down to earth. We don't always see that, right? So I like that. I like the fact that she thought he was adorable and she kept calling him her hot husband. I thought that was so cute because I wasn't sure if she was going to be attracted to him. He's cute, but you just never know what someone is anticipating is going to be at the end of the aisle. So I like them. I was concerned about Lindy's background and the fact that people say she can be a lot, but I think that she has a really good heart. Like I said, she's absolutely adorable. She also has a pretty smile. Miguel is handsome, but kind of quirky, and which I think is good for her. She needs somebody that's quirky. She did mention that she felt comfortable with him like early on. Like, of course we know things change drastically after this first day, but we're off to a good start. We are off to a good start. She's happy. She's very attracted to him. He seems attracted to her. He hasn't been as vocal about that. I think he's just trying to impress her. When he took his little Dungeons and Dragon trinket out and showed her, she didn't really respond, I think, the way he wanted, because he's mentioned that he would like someone that would do his Dungeons and Dragons stuff with him and maybe dress up, in the characters with him. I don't know if Lindy's going to do that. But she said she thought it was cute. And she liked the fact that he was into, had a passion and things outside of work. So I think that's really positive. It's a positive. We're off on a positive foot, right? We're in a good place so far. They're going to have some differences with their backgrounds just because, she is. Her friends talked a lot tonight about how, or on Wednesday, about how she's still very naive. When you're raised really sheltered like that, there's still a lot she has not experienced. And I'm not sure if Lindy has actually lived with someone in a situation like that. So we'll see if this is kind of out of her wheelhouse and out of her comfort. I'm sure it's out of her comfort zone. But she seems to be a good sport and, excited about the opportunity and not delusional about the fact that this is going to be someone different. But I think that they did a better job. I think the experts did a better job in matching people this season because people are actually happy for the most part. We got some issues coming up in a minute, but for the most part, everyone is really happy, and I can see why they were matched. In some seasons past, bride comes down the aisle and I'm like, why would they put him with her? But with every couple this time, I am a little concerned about Alexis and Justin. And then also, what's our girl? Oh my gosh, her name just escaped me. It's probably too much fun. But there's the other young lady that has Asian, that is with Ben. I'm a little concerned about her, and her being, okay with where we're at. But I do think that for this season, we have more couples that actually make sense. Than we have the last couple of seasons, right? Because you can see Lindy and Miguel, you can see even with Alexis and Justin, with them being I'm trying to pull up her name because literally her name just escaped me totally. It's totally escaped me. Married at First Sight, San Diego is giving me the other cast names. But yeah, I think that they did a better job this season of actually like matching people. We'll see. It's early. It's so early. But yeah, Morgan and Ben, the registered nurse, that also is like the kickboxer, Muay Thai young lady. I don't know with that one, but everybody else seems very, equally matched at this point. Now, I mentioned Morgan and Ben, and the thing about them is we don't have much to talk about with them tonight because we saw her get her dress. We saw her family talking about her, and we know that everyone is concerned, about her actually being cool with this. Ben is kind of more laid back. D says Ben may be more problematic than Morgan with his cheapness and mama's boyness. That could be, especially mama's boy partnered with a kickboxer that is a samurai at heart. That could be rough. I think that Ben and Morgan are going to be a lot like Alexis and Justin because it's kind of like they have a role reversal. with the girl being super tough and maybe not as emotional and not as sensitive, and the guy being very sensitive, and that can be a problem. Like, we know that can be a problem. So those, I'm a little concerned about the finances with Sasha and Nate, but we see people that look like they do make sense together. Now, so anyway, Ben has COVID, and so their wedding had to be postponed. Last season, there was a couple that had COVID. Actually, might have been the season before, and they ended up not able to spend their honeymoon together, because of the COVID. So that was Michaela and Justin. So when he did get over the COVID, it was even worse. It was, I wish the COVID kept them apart, period, because that was crazy. Michaela, whew, we weren't having these conversations back then, but we may have to go back and talk about some of the craziest moments. And Michaela going off in that rec room was one of the craziest moments of Married at First. Zach, not Justin, Zach and Michaela. Jesus, that was bless her heart. Bless her heart. But yeah, he had COVID. And so this time Ben has COVID. So the wedding had to be postponed. So we'll have to wait to kind of see what happens with them. But the end of the show, we see Mitch and Kristen. Now, the first thing I want to say about Mitch and Kristen's situation, I said last week that I felt like Mitch was going to be a problem, and I still do. But I felt like Kristen not telling her father about her getting married until the day of. I don't know if that was for production, for her to be able to have this moment, or if that was her decision. But I felt like that was very inconsiderate. And I know for me, I am a mom. If my daughter or my son told me on the day they were getting married, I would be very thrown off. I'd be very thrown off. Like, you don't tell me in front of a camera, right? Now, her dad was actually cool. He looked a little taken aback, but he was cool, and he ended up still walking her down the aisle. But I have a short clip that I pulled from one of the trailers that they played. And we see that Mitch is not necessarily off the rip attracted to Kristen. So yes, Tiffany, Mitch is going to be a problem. First of all, Mitch is one of those guys, they call him the rebel with a cause. Rebel, period, is a problem. It's almost like, do they cast people like this to keep ratings up because they want to make sure that we have somebody that's going to always throw a kink in the situation? I don't know. But between Mitch's attitude and Kristen, now we know she's the one that actually planned the whole wedding and paid for it, and then found out that her fiance was cheating on her and called everything off, but she lost her money. Everybody on this cast has some really sad stories about past interactions with the opposite sex, right? So Kristen has this horrible horror story of being engaged to somebody that was cheating on her, for a long time. And the mistress calls her, and she calls. It's very dramatic. It feels very much like a Jennifer Lopez movie. But I don't know. I think Mitch had a pact with his buddies and hopefully his hairstylist that he will be acting an ass. His hair, I was like, why didn't he just be with his hairstylist? She probably knows he's a little off. Yeah, I don't know, but let's check out this clip. This is a very, very short clip, but it's Mitch saying that that's not what he expected to come down the aisle. And here we go again with people not understanding the name of this show is Married at First Sight. It's not going to give you your version of a 10 and someone that's doing everything you want. It's Married at First Sight. I'm taking a chance. I need to be open to the possibility of something working and something being not necessarily what I'm used to, because that has not worked. But here's a short clip from Mitch, and then let's talk about Mitch and Kristen.
She's not like the type that I imagined.
It's an all-new season of Married at First Sight.
Okay, I told you guys it was a super short clip, right? Super short. But we hear Mitch saying that that was not really what he expected. That concerns me, right? Because it concerns me because we've seen men on the show do one or two things when they're not attracted to the woman. Either they make her life a living hell, as we saw with so many guys in the past. I mean, there's been so many that have been hateful to the girl that they were not attracted to. Now, we saw two actually sleep with the girl. Several like sleep with her a lot. Chris and Paige, obviously. And there was another young lady, a tall basketball player. I can't think of his name right now. I will not drink wine while doing this broadcast again because my brain is just like, what? But there was another guy with a little blonde girl that was cute, and he just was mean to her. He was a basketball player. He slept with her, but he was not attracted to her. And that does happen. Like, that's real life. It's not just on TV. So when a man is not attracted to a woman, it is much more dire than when it's the opposite way. Like, for instance, with Justin and Alexis, even though she's not attracted to him, I haven't totally ruled out. I don't have a lot of faith. I think she's going to break his heart, but it could end up working, right? It could end up working because she could like his personality and see that he has a sweet heart. But when a man is not attracted, there's nothing we can do. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And you're right. I am 100% with you, D. Kristen is much more attractive to most people than Mitch. Mitch is kind of funny looking to me. He's a little bit older than some of the other cast members, and I really want him to make a commitment to like shaving his head. Either shave it, and be bald, or do something, because I'm not feeling this Amber and Matt. That's who it was. Matt. That damn Matt was a ass. He was so mean to her. So mean to her. Thank you, Tiffany. Yes, please, you guys, get the likes up. We're having a great conversation here. But if you guys know, the likes is how YouTube rates these videos. So if you just watch and talk and listen and don't like, then they're going to assume that you did not enjoy the conversation. So I am asking you guys to please do that. But yeah, so I don't want Mitch and Kristen to end up being like a Matt and Amber, or Chris and Paige, God forbid. I think Chris and Paige was the worst. Chris was absolutely ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. He lied about having a woman pregnant, had the other woman in on it. It was just it was a shit show, right? But I don't know. Mitch he is like someone that seems to enjoy being an asshole, and his friends seem to be okay with that. Kristen not telling her dad until right before the ceremony, it's the red flags for me across the board. Both of them, I don't know about that. Yes, Daphne, Zach and Mindy were another example of a guy not being attracted to her, and I thought Mindy was cute. It might not have been what Zach. I don't know if Zach wanted. I'm not going to say what I think about Zach, but I don't necessarily think it was necessarily Mindy. I think it was definitely Zach. But regardless, it shows us, we see that when a man is not attracted to the woman, things do not work. So for Mitch to make that statement, and again, when a woman comes down the aisle in this white dress, she's that's like the top tier of attraction. She's got her makeup done, So if you don't like how she looks, then you definitely aren't going to like how she looks in the morning, right? In the morning when she wakes up and there's no makeup, there's no hair, because she's going to look way different than that. And yes, Monique, Mitch does have some nerve, but don't many of them. Don't many of them have a lot of nerve and a lot of, as my granny would say, unmitigated gall. The gall of you to be able to say that's not what you expected. I am certain that is not what she expected. But she seems kind of like, Kristen seems like she just really, really wants love. And all these young ladies seem like marriage has been like a goal for them, and I guess we're still that way in society. I think that's kind of sad for marriage to be like the goal for most women. But I understand everybody wants to, have that happily ever after fairy tale. And I'm not saying that you should want to get married, but I don't know about making it because you don't control when you fall in love. As we see on the show, you can't control it. It's just timing is everything. When it's your time, it happens. And until then, you just have to be happy and focus on yourself and your life and your friends. And it will happen when it's time. As long as you keep yourself open. I'm not saying, walk around and be a BITCH, but as long as you keep yourself open, you don't control when you're going to fall in love. That's going to happen when it's time. Dee says Kristen didn't want her dad to try to talk her out of doing something so ridiculous. It could be, but I just think that putting him on the spot with the cameras there, and then telling him that the day of, I thought that was just really inconsiderate. And it shows me that she just doesn't have very good decision-making skills, because that's inappropriate to do to him. It's not fair. And, but he walks her down the aisle to Mitch. And yeah. So that is the recap for episode 2. As I said, guys, I'm excited to see what these wedding nights are going to look like. I'm also interested to see if Morgan is into Ben. We know that they both have like Asian heritage, and she's trying to get more in touch with her culture. So that could be a good sign. But I don't know. I just don't know. With her being such a tomboy, an extreme tomboy, and him being kind of the opposite of that, I just don't know. Tiffany says, I can never do this show because I can't force myself to be with someone if I happen not to be attracted to him. I'm the same way. I have tried. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I be honest all the time when I talk about my dating experiences. I have tried to date guys that I was not attracted to, and I just can't. And I know there are a lot of women that are just like, oh, I don't really care about looks. I have girlfriends like that. I'm not into the looks. I wish I was like that, but I'm not. And because I'm not, you have to know thyself, right? So I know for me, if he looked different than I expected, if he was like my height, which I'm 5'2", if he was 5'2", I would probably want to turn around and go back up the aisle. So I wouldn't go on this show. I would definitely not go on this show. But if you go on this show, you are agreeing to be open. And I do think that there's something to that. There's something to being open about something that you haven't had before. I just have not matured enough to get there. And thank God, that God sent me someone that I am attracted to, and I was able to be to fall in love with them and be compatible. But hey, I give kudos to the women that are able to do that. So that being said, thank you guys for hanging out with me. We're going to be back next week to talk about more of this show. We're just getting started, and we know how things start is not how they end on this show. So, things could turn around all the way. We do know that there are some couples that are attracted to each other. We got some good substance, and, at least we got some compatibility in most of these cases. But time will tell. Time will tell. In the meantime, make sure that you guys tune in on Monday night. On Monday night, I'm going to be talking to Duchess from Black Ink. And then on Tuesday, I have a surprise for anyone out there that's in a relationship or that watches Put a Ring on It. Because I have Dr. Nicole is going to come back. She's been here before, but we're going to talk to couples. We're going to talk about things for couples. So anyone that wants to be a part of a couple, if you feel like you're ready, if you're dating someone that you feel like could be the one, make sure that you tune in Tuesday at 8, because Dr. Nicole is going to be here doing like some couples therapy. So it's going to be good. I'm excited. I'm so happy that she agreed to come back. And there's so much more coming. So make sure that you like this before you click off, before you tell us goodnight. Make sure that you like this broadcast and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I want to wish you guys a beautiful Sunday. This is Saturday here in Atlanta for me, but I want to wish you all a blessed remainder of your weekend. And as you start the week off tomorrow, I hope everyone is blessed and in good spirits. And I will see you guys back here on Monday at 8. All right. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.